A young woman living a perfect life in the 1950s realizes her entire reality is fake. Alice and Jack are a perfect couple, living in a 1950s town called Victory, where men work all day and women are stay-at-home wives. The men work at a secret place where the women are forbidden to enter. One day, Alice goes to Jack's workplace and her life turns upside down. She starts seeing visions and memories of herself from another life. She discovers dark truths about her world and wants to leave, but first, she has to go through the depraved men of Victory. Strap in, movie enthusiasts, it's recap time. Today, we will be recapping a mystery thriller film named Don't Worry Darling from the year 2022. So let's start. The movie opens with three couples playing a game while they're drunk. They are playing at Alice and Jack Chambers' house, who are our protagonists. The other couples are Dean and his wife Bunny, along with Peter and his pregnant wife Peg. They all live the perfect old-fashioned 1950s theme life in a town called Victory. Here, all the men are perfect husbands who go to work all day, while all the women are loving housewives. In the morning, Alice is making breakfast while Jack gets ready for work. Suddenly, everything starts shaking, so Alice suspects the earthquake is linked to Jack's work. Jack is a technical engineer and reveals that his work involves processing dangerous materials. So that's why it's classified, and they are not allowed to talk about it with anyone, not even their wives. He leaves for work with all the other husbands, leaving their houses as their wives wave them goodbye. All the men drive towards the Victory headquarters, which is on a hill in the desert. Meanwhile, Alice performs her routine, which includes cleaning the house, traveling in trolley buses, and going to dance classes with her friends. Their dance classes are taught by Shelley, who's the wife of Frank. Frank is the creator of the Victory Project. Shelley invites a new member to their class, a woman named Violet. Violet and her husband, Bill, just moved into town. After the dance class, Bunny gossips with Alice about their neighbors, Margaret and Ted, who are having marital problems. Bunny has two kids, a boy and a girl, who are quite mischievous. Later, while hanging her clothes, Alice notices Margaret outside her house, holding a red toy plane. Afterward, Alice cooks dinner and realizes that all the eggs are bizarrely empty. The next day, the gals sit at the public pool to drink and chat. Alice hums a song that she can't figure out where she heard. But suddenly, she sees a quick vision of women dancing on the ceiling. Later in the afternoon, everyone goes to Frank's house for a party. There, Dean talks to Bill about Frank and idolizes him. Shelley gives a speech, praising her husband, but gets interrupted by Margaret, who claims the women shouldn't be in this town. Her husband, Ted, drags her away as Frank makes his entrance. Frank thanks Dr. Collins for helping him build this town. He then welcomes their newest resident and employee, Bill Johnson, and honors all the townsfolk for their loyalty and hard work. Afterward, the ladies hang out at the mall for shopping. There, they talk about their former friend, Margaret, whom they believe has gone crazy. They discuss how Margaret disobeyed the one rule for women,
which was not to go to the desert where the Victory headquarters is because it's dangerous.
She went with her son and returned alone. No one knows what she saw, but Margaret believes the men took her son away as punishment. Alice sees another vision of creepy women dancing, but wakes up in her bed. She continues her routine the next day. While traveling in the trolley bus, she notices a red plane crashing in the desert mountains near the Victory headquarters. Alice asks the bus driver to take her there, but he chickens out. She walks alone in the desert, but doesn't find the plane. Instead, she comes across the Victory headquarters. There, she finds a mirror and proceeds to touch it. She hallucinates, seeing drops of blood and women dancing in synchronization while hearing Frank's voice. She wakes up and finds herself in her bedroom. It's night, and Alice finds Jack making dinner for them, claiming she was asleep for hours, so he decided to cook. Alice tries to explain what she saw in the desert, but Jack convinces her that it must have been a weird dream. The next morning, Alice receives a call from Margaret, who knows she went into the desert. She tells Alice that the men are lying to them, but Alice doesn't believe her and ends the call. Alice goes to her dance class, where she starts seeing Margaret in the mirror as her reflection. Margaret starts bashing her head in the mirror, which startles Alice. Everyone starts looking at Alice as she notices her reflection is normal. Alice runs home and notices Margaret on top of her house. She slits her throat and jumps, while Alice gets dragged away by the town's security guards. At night, Alice and Jack get into an argument. Alice tries to convince Jack that Margaret cut her throat, but Jack believes she stumbled from the roof, according to Dr. Collins. The next day, Alice starts to become more paranoid and imagines herself drowning. Later, she tries to take her life by wrapping her face in a plastic sheet. Jack now calls in Dr. Collins to examine Alice. He informs them that she is only reacting naturally to the trauma of witnessing Margaret's accident. He prescribes her some pills, but she refuses because she is skeptical now. Alice notices a file on Margaret in Collins's bag. As Collins leaves, he unintentionally forgets his bag. Jack walks him out, and Alice quickly opens his bag and hides the file. Collins returns for his bag, and Alice smoothly hands him over. Now she goes through the file, and it's redacted, revealing no answers about Margaret's fate. Later that day, Jack brings a dress for Alice to wear to Frank's party. He proceeds to suggest that he wants change in his life, so he wants to have a child with her, but Alice is speechless. At night, they go to the party where Frank booked a burlesque dancer for entertainment. Watching the dancer reminds Alice of her visions of the creepy dancers. She starts remembering about Margaret again and wants to leave now. Meanwhile, Frank calls Jack to the stage and offers him a promotion. He gives a ring to Jack as Alice rushes to the ladies' room. There, she starts to remember her memories from another life. Bunny arrives to check on her and asks what happened.
Alice reveals that she went to the desert headquarters and touched a mirror.
And now she's remembering strange memories. She says the men are lying to them and they have to escape, but Bunny shames her. She tells her to stop ruining her husband's night because she is sounding like Margaret. The next night, Alice and Jack invite their friends for dinner, including Frank and his wife, who never visit anyone's residence. Later in the kitchen, Frank privately confronts Alice about her suspicions, claiming no one will believe her, just like she didn't believe in Margaret. He dares her to challenge him because he likes a good competition. While dining, Alice starts pointing out odd things she noticed in the town, like how most women are from Philadelphia or Chicago, and how they all have similar stories about their first meetings with their husbands. Then she starts accusing Frank of lying to them about their memories and manipulating them by keeping secrets about the Victory Project. Frank makes her sound delusional like Margaret and reveals how Alice broke the rule
And went to the headquarters,
which could have put all their lives in danger. Alice points out that Frank is tampering with their food, but Shelley berates Alice for acting like a child and being a rude host. She leaves, as everyone else also decides to leave. Frank privately shares a word with Jack, as Alice feels embarrassed. Jack returns disappointed and feels that Alice is deliberately trying to sabotage him. Alice pleads that she truly loves him and wants to escape with him. She convinces Jack to run away with her, and Jack seemingly agrees. They enter the car to leave, but Jack doesn't start the engine. The red-suited men arrive and take Alice away as she screams while Jack sits still. They take her to Dr. Collins, who puts her on electroshock therapy. Alice now sees her real life, where she was a surgery nurse who'd work for 30 hours and return home exhausted to her imperfect husband, Jack. Jack would try to spice things up with his wife, but Alice was always exhausted, so they were both quite distant. Now, back in 1950s reality, Alice's shock therapy is complete, and Jack brings her back home, as she seems normal. She reunites with Bunny and plays with her children. Days pass by as Alice returns to her perfect 50s routine of cleaning, cooking, and dancing. One night, Jack returns home and starts singing the song that Alice used to hum. Alice gets shocked as it is revealed through a flashback that Jack was a miserable husband who couldn't make their marriage work. So he enlisted Alice in a program where she is permanently placed in a virtual world, which is Victory Town. This program was created by Frank. In the real world, Jack visits Alice and lies with her while singing this song. Above her bed, a video of women dancing is being projected, which she keeps remembering. Alice confronts Jack about this revelation, and Jack confirms it. He tries to reason with her that she wanted to make her happy because they were both living miserable lives. Alice complains about taking away her choice because he drugged her in the first place and made her feel crazy. He apologizes to her and begs her not to leave. He grabs her tightly and doesn't let go, so she smashes a glass on his head. Bunny arrives and finds Jack dead. Alice tries to explain that this world isn't real, and surprisingly, Bunny agrees. Bunny reveals that she always knew the truth about this place, and came here willingly so she could be with her children, who aren't alive in the real world anymore.
she advises Alice to go to headquarters
And leave this world because she killed Jack. And if someone dies here, they die in the real world too. Which means Frank's men will be coming after her. Alice leaves the house as all the other couples come outside. The husbands start worrying as the wives realize their world is an artificial simulation.
The men would go to the headquarters because they could escape this reality from there.
And that's why they prohibited the women from going there. Alice takes Jack's car and drives towards the headquarters as Frank's men chase her. She reaches the desert, where Dr. Collins also joins in to stop her. Alice hits the brake as the cars behind her collide with the doctor's car. Frank gets informed that Dr. Collins died and Alice got away. Shelley overhears it and stabs Frank because she realizes her reality too and wants to break free. Meanwhile, Alice arrives at the headquarters, as Frank's men are chasing her by foot now. She remembers Jack's touch one last time and quickly touches the headquarters mirror. We see her real-life happy memories, and the movie ends as we only hear her wake up. I hope you liked the story recap. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Thank you for being a part of Black's Movie Recaps. If these tales of mystery and intrigue sent shivers down your spine, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Black's Movie Recap for more bone-chilling narratives. Stay tuned, and until next time, stay captivated.